So don't look now, Coach, but you're on track to have your first winning season in 2017. Where exactly have you seen your team improve on and off the court, and simply put, why?
Um, I think one, we have players that are committed here. I keep telling them all the time is, hey, we want players who want to be here because the players that want to be here want to help this program grow. And Lacey and Audrey have done a really good job of leading this team from a leadership standpoint and also from a performance standpoint too. And we also have more of the right pieces that we needed. We in 2017 we had some good pieces too. So this year we have some experience and the pieces that we needed that helped us win the games that we've won so far. So I like the fact that they work hard. I like the fact that they're committed here, and they're a competitive group.
So, Coach, on Saturday night, you said I think I asked you something about looking forward or looking ahead to Texas, and you said you were preparing by watching film. They're good on both sides of the net. So, what was something you took away from watching film?
They're good, and they're number one for a reason, right? And they've been good. It's not like they all of a sudden became good. No, they've been good for a number of years now, and every year they compete for the national championship. But I'm impressed with them, and they're a physical, athletic team. They're a handful. So what we got to do is we got to compete hard. We got to take care of the ball, and we got to make sure that we control our side of the net.
And just to chime in, we're ranked 13th. It just came out.
13th. Woohoo!
Wow.
You got the raw reaction, Coach. What do you think of that?
It's great to be recognized, and for our players, I'm happy for them and for this program, to be recognized. But that's just recognition, right? And so we got to continue to do the right things and make sure that we continue to win.
Now, you've coached all over the country in different conferences, Pac-12, Big East. How different or how much more difficult maybe is it to build a successful program in the Big 12 as it is opposed to different conferences?
It's tough. It's tough because you already have teams established. And how do you bypass all these teams that are established? So you can catch up from last to seventh, or I'm sorry, eighth or seventh. Maybe there's some turnaround there, but it's tough to get in the middle. But it's such a great conference. That's why, and you got the historic powerhouses. With Texas, you got Iowa State's in it. I consider Iowa State in it, and you got Baylor now, you got Oklahoma, you got Kansas, all those teams, and Kansas State's been good in the past. So it's a challenge every year and every night. So but if you want to be one of the best teams, you got to play the best. That's my philosophy.
This is kind of a follow-up to Sam's question. We're talking about the established programs in Big 12, like the Texas and Baylor's. How much knowledge do you gain from playing teams like them, regardless win or loss? Is it better playing a team like Texas or Baylor compared to like a bye game?
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you can play a really, really good team. If we played Texas and we played Baylor every night, and I'm just using those two schools as examples, or a Stanford or a Penn State, Minnesota or what have you, you're going to get better, and you're bound to get better, because you can learn so much from these programs that are established and that have tradition. So You know, I like playing teams like that we can take away stuff from.
What's it take to build a successful team, according to you, Coach?
Um, you gotta want players who you gotta want good players who want to come here, or you gotta get good players to want to come here. You know, that's the most important thing, I think. Um, I also think that they have to believe in what we're doing. You know, now if you're going 0-16 every year, I mean, I don't know how you can recruit. So that's tough, right? And we've been there, so I know that. And but you know, if you, I think that it starts with recruits, and then you know, the system that we have.
Coach, this is my last question for today. Is there any update on the spring season as of late, last couple weeks? Any plan?
No, it's still status quo. I think, you know, they're planning on having a spring season and then a spring championship, but nothing's confirmed. And you know, I know like the Big Ten and the Pac-12, they're planning on playing, but nothing's really confirmed yet. And you know, there's no schedules out or anything like that. So. You know, we don't have a schedule, so I don't know what's happening.
With Pac-12 and Big Ten, would they still play? Would they play both non-conference and conference, or would they just play conference?
I believe it's just conference only, you know. And then I know the ACC is going to play some. I know the SEC is going to play some, you know, in conference matches. So we got to figure out what we want to do or what we can do. And you know, I know we're gonna start a little later than most because they're gonna be in season as opposed to us out of season. And we just got to figure out who we can play and what our schedule's like.
Is there going to be? Would you? Is it going to be harder? It's going to be obviously harder to schedule this year, but are you going to try to like limit travel still, like rather than playing local teams and just driving?
Yeah, I think to start, it's going to be regional teams. And then after that, if we can't get regional teams, then we got to maybe get teams from the Big 12 and just play and not have it count, but at least get some matches in, you know. So, I mean, it'll count, but I'm saying this doesn't count towards our conference record.
Now, Nikki is kind of in the same boat over in women's soccer. You know, they're planning on having a spring tournament, maybe even a spring like season, I guess. But that's uncharted territory for everybody. What do you do in that 4 or 5 months where you're just kind of waiting to not only play but figure out when you're going to play?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta keep working out. We gotta keep practicing, you know, and we're gonna be a little bit in our 8 hours per week and then into our 20 hours per week. So we gotta manage that part. But you know, we just gotta make sure we're ready when called upon. And you know, if we're not ready, shame on us. So the goal is to prepare to play in the postseason. And if we can do that, then it'll be great.
Do you have any concern for injuries or anything like that? You know, if that's normally recovery time, that's normally prep for next season time.
Right.
Now you got to play extra games. Is that a concern?
Yeah, there's always a concern with injuries, you know, and that's where we come in and we have to manage our practice times. I mean, as soon as they come back in January, then we're going to take it slow and you know, take a couple of weeks of just getting back to normal, and then start going a little harder and harder and harder, and then hopefully we can peak at the right time or be ready to compete, you know, when we need to, and not lose a beat. But it's going to be a slow process for sure.